it doesn't make the difference. What does make the difference is the determination to succeed, right? You're going to need to be like desperately addicted to this, like desperately wanting success. Again, your definition totally different. It doesn't matter.
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I hope you guys are all doing well. We are starting to settle in at the new casa here in Carlsbad and really loving it. Really blessed each and every day. Just feel so much gratitude of like where we've come to where we're at today. And it's just the beginning, really. It just feels like the beginning. You know, we have still huge goals ahead of us and some really big things, big impact, big goals that we're aiming for and taking down on a regular basis. But what I wanted to deep dive in today is having you ask yourself, what is your definition of success, number one, right? And then number two, what are some of the goals that you have right now? Like, what are some of the big goals that you are focusing on currently that you're getting prepared for? Like one of ours, for example, is we are about to get permits in the next few months that we should be able to start doing ground up construction on at least 3 new properties, like 3 new buildings that we're going to be building, which is great. But then we will have another 4 that we will be building that we should be getting permits, I don't know, maybe in 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, towards the end of this year, possibly. And so with all that being said, like some of our goals is, hey, let's get some investors together, whether it's from our members within Credit Counsel Elite that can be a part of it and get to participate within some of our real estate deals to show them the power of it, because I'm a big component of like, hey, show them what has blessed us so much, right? Real estate has completely changed our life. Credit was the catalyst to do it. I always say that. But in addition to that, you know, getting just prepared for it, right? Whether it's from our members or other investors and getting strong returns for people, right? So I ask you to figure out some of these goals and really your definition of success for many different reasons here. One is going to be unlocking here that I've been seeing more people, whether it's members in Credit Counsel Elite or outside people that I do one-on-one coaching with and so forth, and just walking, you know, meeting at church and other areas, I've seen more people want success, whatever that is to them, deeply, at least verbally. See, they want it verbally, but then afterwards, I get excited talking about business. I get excited talking to people about their passions and what they get excited for, right? It excites me. It gets me like, yes, you know, this is awesome. This is what it's about. This is what we are all called to find. Find what gets you excited and what you could spend your last breath doing, right? And if you can get paid for it as well, heck yes, you know, like, and hit all of your goals and dreams, why not? Why not be that inspiration to yourself, to your family, to others, and be able to make that impact, right? And do what you love and make money with it. Come on. That's like heaven right there. So a lot of people, though, I've come to find once I start asking them to pull it apart, like, hey, what is the business plan? What are you doing? What does this look like? There's a lot of disconnects. There's a lot of things that I'm like, red flag, high alert, like, and it's not that I'm trying to be negative or pessimistic or anything else. I'm more of a realistic type of person, and I call it how it is. From New Jersey originally. It's in my roots. It's in my DNA. And it's one of those things that kind of like if you guys watch Shark Tank and Kevin O'Leary, he'll tell you, you know, take that behind the barn and shoot it type of thing. And it's chaotic and it's, you know, it's like, call it how you see it so that they have an opportunity to actually protect themselves and get it corrected. And with some people I've been cautious with because I don't want to kill their hopes and dreams. And I'm hoping something will just connect. But realistically, some of this stuff needs to just take place. And with some of my coaching members, they're paying me for advice. Like, if you don't ask me for advice, or if you don't, invest in yourself to get the advice, then by all means, if you're asking me for my opinion, then I'll give it to you really cold and straight. But a lot of people don't want to hear it. Some people just talk the talk because it feels good to them and it feels like they're doing something, but there's most likely a deeper void there, and they don't have the confidence or the know-how in the moment to say the troubles and how to actually overcome it. They don't know how to say, hey, I actually need help, or hey, I probably need help, but I don't want to work as hard as you're going to tell me, or I don't want to hear what you have to say, even though it's probably, in a better direction because you've already been there and done it. So the message here is I can't teach you success. And I know it's kind of bold, and it's not like, again, all types of levels of success. Your level of success, or your definition, your meaning behind it, is 100% different from mine in many ways, most likely, which is totally cool, which is totally okay. See, for me, it comes down to time freedom, financial freedom, right? Those are the two biggest pieces. And having the ability to not just live my life as I desire and how I design it, but also give that same type of experience to other people very close to me, friends, family, people that I want to see smiles on, and to be able to experience things without the burdens of life and other either financial or time responsibilities, right? And so, again, there's levels to everything. And so over time, my goal is to get closer and closer to those levels of success for me. But yours is going to be different. Yours is going to be different. Like finding complete peace within me as well, within my higher power. It's like, that's everything. It's super important, because without that, then I'm screwed in all these other areas, right? But I can't teach you success. But what I can give you is a riddle of different things that, looking back in the 10 years that I've been on this journey of real estate, and even prior to that, it's been about since like 2011, once I really started making changes. And I remember even prior to that, when I was 17, 18 years old, I was doing the wrong things. I was selling drugs at the time, and I was working, though. I had one foot in, one foot out, and I was working my butt off. I was addicted to making money and being financially responsible, and getting closer to goals. I wanted to save up money. I wanted to go on vacations because I wasn't used to doing those things. I wanted to take my family on vacations. I wanted to have different, financial goals in the future to be able to accomplish. And I felt like I was the only one within my circle. I felt like I was the only one that I could find that actually cared about doing, better. And I had a lot of pain around finances growing up, but it doesn't make the difference. What does make the difference is the determination to succeed, right? You're going to need to be like desperately addicted to this, like desperately wanting success. Again, your definition totally different. Doesn't matter. But like, you're going to want to desperately want it. And I never say typically that like you need to do anything, because you don't need to do a damn thing. You can do whatever you want. But from my personal experience in this situation, you're not just going to want to get the results. You need to. You need to. Absolutely need to. Because if you don't, the chances are very, very unlikely for you to be able to hit any type of level of success. Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like those individuals were addicted to their craft, were obsessed with succeeding, becoming the best versions of themselves on the court. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's different. You got to get addicted to that outcome and that level, and going at it until everything breaks. So not just desperately wanting it, but being determined to actually get it. Sacrifice time and things, rather than being around the people that you want, kids, family, friends. Sometimes you have to sacrifice some of that stuff. You need to put it on the back burner, and it sucks. And you really need to be cautious of that, especially guys, because if you put that stuff on the back burner, because it is very common for a man to say, hey, I'm working my butt off to be able to provide for my family, but then you're neglecting your family. And because of that neglect, now, and you're working, 20 hours a day, the family never sees you. You're providing, right? You're providing, but you're providing financially and a roof over the head and things like that. You're not providing mentally, physically, emotionally. And that's where the disconnect, and, families don't need that. They don't want that. That's not going to be productive, and families will fall apart that way. So that's not what I'm talking about. But at the same time, there is a season for everything. And if you have clear communication with your family up front, and I don't necessarily like, I don't have kids. I don't have, like, we just got married, Jen and I. And so I'll tell you my personal experience when it comes down to the relationship of neglecting that or putting it on the back burner or focusing on this. But I'll also tell you that, your own experience, that it's really, really important. It's imperative for you to have communication, transparency, and everything. See, Jen and I, when we first got started and I was leaving the restaurant gigs, I was trying to get out of that, and I was working my butt off to try to make additional money to make sense of not just leaving, but being able to hit our financial goals, be able to get out of debt, to be able to put myself on the right path, to be able to buy more real estate, to be able to take down more territory. And it was difficult in the first, beginning. We didn't know what the hell we're doing. We're just going after it and try to make money, right? And so because of that, it wasn't like a 9 to 5 for me. It was, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning till like 10 p.m. type of thing. And so that started making a disconnect with Jen and I. She would get frustrated. We started getting in fights because she was a physical touch. She was a time type of love language. Like, so not having that stuff, it started making, a grudge, and it started being frustrated. It felt like she was by herself, doing things, and she wanted to be with me. That's what a relationship is. And so therefore, it makes it difficult to, for a guy, it was easy for me to say, well, babe, what are you talking about? Why are you getting frustrated? I'm working my butt off over here to be able to provide for us and to get us a better place, a better location, better cars, like better lifestyle, better money. And so what I quickly realized after that, and having clear communication, is I didn't ask her for permission up front to do these things. And I needed to prioritize our relationship so I didn't lose that. And that was in the very beginning. That wasn't like anytime soon. That was a very long time ago. The first year and a half into it, maybe first 2 years, we started having issues with that. And so I don't have kids, but I can imagine, and I've heard other people doing this. I don't know if it's right. I would assume it's not, but I'm not here to judge. And you need to figure that out and have clear communication with your kids as well, if this is the thing. When it comes down to like missing sports or, practice to things, and they want you there, they expect you to be there, other parents are there, they want to be cheered on, and then you're not there, it probably feels not good, And so with that being said, if you're in a season, and it's not just a 20, it's not just a 1, 2, 3 year type of thing, but it is a season of this fall or this spring, this summer, this 3-6 months, it's going to be really difficult. Like, mom, dad aren't going to be as present or readily available. We will have these times at this period of time to be able to dedicate towards us and family and all these things. Like, you need to have your non-negotiables, and making sure that there's clear communication, transparency, and you get permission from them, and that they're okay with it. And that the moment that they're not okay with it, that they are communicating that properly with you so that you guys can come to the table, figure out, hey, this isn't working. I'm not happy with it. I need this to change. And for you guys to readapt and see, hey, what can be done at this point, and how much, whatever. It's just clear communication and transparency, because if not, then that resentment builds up and you don't even know, and you're over here locked in, focused. Other people are terrified and depressed, and it's not good. And you're building that wall and that frustration and separation. That's no good. So I encourage always full communication, full transparency throughout the whole process. But there are seasons, because wherever you focus your time and energy, of course, of course, it makes sense that other areas of your life are going to be, less. It's going to be pulled away from. It's common sense, right? It's hard. I don't know anybody out there that's practicing and preaching this full balanced life. This full balanced life, it's the most difficult thing to juggle. I just haven't found somebody that is excellent at it. And yeah, you may be able to get a couple things in and get routines and locked in, in many different areas, which is great. To be able to get the full balance, I just haven't found that individual yet. And I think if you can do your best as much as you can to get as much of that full balance that are your non-negotiables and so forth, then great. But we all have choices. We all have commitments. We all have not just our word, but our actions speak much louder. So I just encourage you. I hear a lot of people out there saying, hey, I want success. I want all these things. This is what I'm going to do. But then the actions are more of a standstill or a pushback, or the actions aren't following suit with the words that you're speaking to be able to get the results you're destined for or desiring, right? And so success isn't always taught, I say that a lot. Success isn't always taught. Sometimes it's just caught by being around others that are in mastermind groups, right? One of the big components of why I'm so addicted to being in mastermind groups is because it's not the stinking thinking people that I grew up around. It's people that have similar experiences to that so they can relate, but they are the one within their family. Like if you're listening to this, I can almost bet you are the one within your family. How I know this to be true is because others out there aren't necessarily focusing time and energy on bettering themselves, on, listening to and taking notes on things that could potentially get them closer to their goals. It's something when you want to become better, you surround yourself with other people that are doing better, you will become the average, right? We all hear that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So whether you're spending time with a bunch of, fat, unathletic people that aren't exercising, you may as well be the next one. Or if you're hanging out with a bunch of fit people, hitting the gym, eating together and exercising together, all these other things, you may be the 6th one. And so same thing with success, same thing with, good parenting, same thing with anything in life, right? If you want to become a great chess player, like hang out with a bunch of amazing high-level chess players. Ask them questions, see what they're doing, watch them, see how they think, see how they act. And you will become extremely well and get pulled up into that level before you know it. And so I always believe that if you want it, get around winners. I'm addicted to getting in mastermind groups for the simple fact that it has always blessed me. I've always reaped a reward from it. I've always been around other people, the one within their own circle, it's all the one. It's the 1%ers in one room, in one group, with a stronger mindsets that want something bigger and better, that are more positive, that aren't settling for less, that want to go to the next level. Like that's who I want to be around, because it's not pulling you back. It's ways to be able to get to the next level, and doing it with a heck of a lot more ease, and learning from other people's frustrations and understanding like you can't change family. And in some cases, people that were once your friends and so forth, you don't necessarily need to cut them out, but there's also levels to everything. And there's time. Where are you focusing your time and energy? If it's not healthy, if it's not beneficial, then you may want to consider where you're putting your time and energy if it's holding you back, right? So just be cautious of that. I've talked to other people that I'm coaching that they're cutting people off left and right. And while there's benefits to that for your own peace of mind and your own sanity, keep in mind, family is something that you should always try to fight for. I believe, and there's seasons, there's times to put up a boundary and a border to protect your own heart, your own mindset as you are bettering yourself to get prepared and positioned and like just a little bit more level-headed instead of blowing up. But because family can get the best out of you in some cases. But it's one of those situations that I believe God puts family in your life to put you through challenges in many cases, and to be able to grow, to be able to learn from, to be able to challenge, to be able to improve your overall experiences and learn how to deal with others even better as well. So I think all of that can really help. But so you can't change family. You can put up boundaries if needed, worst case scenario. Ideally, surround yourself with winners, people that like where you want to be, where you want to go, get within those circles. It will help significantly. Now, this is what I've been seeing a lot lately. People looking for the easy way out, the magic pill, if you will, the here, let me hire somebody else to do it, the do it for you service, and solve all my problems. We've had members recently that have, they got a bunch of funding, and then they either want the automation businesses, right? They want to buy an existing business thinking that that's going to be easy. That's going to be a real wake up call, trust me. Or they are paying a bunch of money to individuals to build out the funnels, to be able to build out this, savvy business, because that's what they believe a successful business looks like, without acknowledging that there's levels to everything. And there's also ways that you're going to want to figure out each position of the business, right? And you're going to want to figure out how to actually grind through the process. You have to work hard. I've never seen a shortcut on working hard, whether it's education, whether it's implementation of like learning the new skill and implementing it, testing it out, trial and error. Like you have to put in those 10,000 hours. Does that make sense? Like you have to put that in. Otherwise, you're not going to be the expert. Otherwise, you trying to hire on people, it's going to be a mockery. It's going to be a shit show. Like every position that we've ever hired on for, in many cases, I'm trying to think, I don't want to overstate this here or exaggerate. I can't think of one that we haven't done ourselves. But take this for example. Good example here is Jen and I have always, before hiring it out, we've always implemented ourselves in that position first, so that we had that first hand experience, so that we could relate to it, so that we could build out SOPs on it, and so that when we did hire on people, we could explain to them exactly what to look out for, what to do, and we could also hold them accountable without them BSing us and us just not knowing, right? For example, like cleaning Airbnbs. I remember when we first got Airbnbs, it was, I think, 2020. And our first guest that we had, we thought it was awesome. We were like, yes, making money, ching, ching. And the people, it was like first time beginner's luck type of thing, except it wasn't luck. It was like just a good experience. The first person, it was messy. Like they stained things. There was just a mess everywhere. They just didn't care and just trashed the place basically. And we were going through cleaning it up, looking at this like as if this was going to be the normal. And we were like, oh no, what did we do? This is horrible. And we're cleaning up this little 650 square foot apartment unit, and we're like about to tear up because we're taking like 4 or 5 hours, 2 people, sweeping, mopping, doing the dishes, changing the laundry, cleaning, scrubbing, the bathrooms. And it was just like, holy cow, how could 3 or 4 people make this much of a mess in just a weekend stay, not caring? And like, my God, like we stay at hotels all the time and we leave it sometimes better than how we came. And we're just like looking at each other like, is this going to be the normal? Oh my God. If so, this is horrible. And so luckily we found out with the next couple of weeks, with more people coming in and staying at other units, they were actually, that first one was actually the worst. All the others ended up being like, oh, not too bad. Not bad at all. This is great. It's like, okay, cool. That made me feel better. But we had to actually go through it ourselves. Because if not, when we hire on people, they would have cut corners. And we've had people try cutting corners. We've had people miss certain areas, not care, not putting the due diligence. And they could have sold us some BS dream or excuse, and we could have bought into it. And we also wouldn't have gotten the respect on both sides. Like when we've seen, like when contractors have seen us actually putting in work in certain areas, I just feel like they give a little bit more respect to it instead of us just, writing the check or giving a credit card for payment versus like they see us working, they understand, hey, we can roll up the sleeves and do it too. And then vice versa. We know and respect when they give us a bid or a quote and they say, hey, this unit was really dirty. This one was really bad. This project went longer than expected. You saw we were out there. That's why it's going to be more. We'll be like, hey, I get it. And it was underbid. This is what we can do behind it. You have more leniency on it, but there's no magic pill. And there's no need for some fancy funnel or software. What is needed is hustle, grit, and tenacity. A willing to not stop until you succeed. You should have a mindset going into it, though, of understanding, hey, if this much time passes, if this much trial and efforts, if this much money goes out into the business and we aren't making enough, then something has to give. Something has to give to be able to make changes, right? Like you can't keep up a downward trend financially and time and waste, if it's not working, it's not working. And there's got to be a certain period where you say, hey, enough is enough. I'm not going to do this blindly anymore. I gotta pull the plug and be done with it. There's people out there that will like, hey, burn the ships. We're going all in, do or die, get rich or die trying, It's like, which I respect. I really do. But because that mindset is imperative to you focusing and saying, I'm all in. There's no excuses. I'm not pulling out. We're doing this. And just that mindset and that grit, that hustle, like there's no other way, that will help you. But if you don't have that to begin with, you're already screwed. You're already screwed. See, I believe that people are looking for all those easy magic pills, hire somebody else to spend 60, 100K and have everybody, solve their problems. It's never been that easy. It's never ever been it. I don't believe it ever will be either. And maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth and like something down the road it could. Who knows? And are there one-offs? Of course there is. That's where this hope and dreams come from. It's that social media overnight success type of thing. And nobody sees the 99.9% of other people out there that put in the hustle, the grind, the grit, the dedication, the addiction to all this work, energy, and efforts. Nobody sees that. So it's hard for, like, when somebody posts on social media, hey, just, hit these numbers. It's like, well, they think, wow, that happened quick, a couple months into it. It's like, no. Took 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever. And so a lot of people I see trying to buy the business because why they heard it on social media, it sounds trendy. It makes logical sense that there's more baby boomers that haven't systemized the business properly, have a good functional business, but are trying to cash out, trying to get out, trying to retire, willing to sell it as a discount because they don't know any better. And, they have this book of contacts. They have systems in place, but it's old school. It could be systemized better with, technology and so forth that we are more used to within the last 20 years. And that just hasn't been there. So it makes sense, right? Is it that easy? Hell no, it never is. It never will be, in my opinion. And so in addition to that, what I recommend doing instead of building out all the funnels, building out all these things before you even have business is focus on only business, like only, aka money. You have to make money from everything that you're doing. Otherwise, why are you doing it? See, like when I was buying real estate in the very beginning, even now, today, it's like I buy it for the simple fact, when I buy it initially, I know I'm making money day one. You won't see it day one. You'll see it in a couple months from now, but I know it will be huge. And I know I have the budget to be able to withstand the holding costs, okay? In the worst case scenario as well. When it comes down to courses, coaching, product, services, if you have something that somebody else could benefit from and want, desire, and willing to pay for it, whether it's food, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's something along those lines, then how do you just make money from it? How do you market, like sell yourself, like let people know this is available, we have it, I have what you want, I have what you need, and tell as many people as possible, because that's your funnel, right? Think of a big funnel. You get in front of 1 million people up top, and 1 million people know, hey, Brandon is the owner of Credit Counsel Elite. He can teach you how to get up to $500,000 with interest rates as low as 0%. That's repeatable every 6 months. Does that make sense? Are you interested? Is this cool? This is for business owners with a FICO score over 700 that's willing to do some big numbers, that stop holding them back, right? Yes? Cool. Now, out of that 1 million people that now know about it, because you got to know about it, now maybe 100,000 of that million are like, hey, that resonates with me. That's what I want. That's what I like, like, because you get people that know you, now you get 100,000 that actually like you. And then out of that 100,000, now you got 10,000 that actually trust you. Is that know, like, and trust factor, out of 1 million people, you get 10,000 that could actually potentially be your customers, that could pay you for your services because it's what they know you now. They like what you have. They trust that you can get them that deliverable. And they're like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I need. I like it. Let's go. It's like, that is something, a good exchange. But in the beginning, how do you just tell people about it? It's marketing. You don't need to spend money on ads. You don't need to do anything crazy. In the beginning, what I just did, truthfully, is just do a lot of social media. It was just always on Facebook. Initially, it was just always on Facebook. And then over the years, I've gotten lazy and I've gotten off of it because we've built systems around it over time. When I wanted to buy back more time freedom and be able to just run ads and emails and so forth to get in front of people, like, that stuff can be extremely valuable. We have a huge email list now, so that helps all by itself. And so you don't need to have all those fancy things just yet. You can build those out over time and capture the emails and build out, have money for budget into ads. I didn't have that budget originally. I was bootstrapping. I was doing it myself. So I had to actually make money up front. I had to get, like, sell myself to, like, hey, I have what you're looking for and I can help get you what you want. I had to sell that idea to as many people that were interested in hearing it as possible, so that I could make money, number one. And when I made enough money, then I could look back and see, oh, there's things where I need to invest some of this money to make this process easier, better, and make it more beneficial for myself, for time wise, as well as convenience for the person paying. So if you have, like, a food product, how do you make it better, looks better, feels good when they experience it, easier convenience? They don't need to wait a long time. They don't have to pay with Bitcoin. They can pay with however, in many different ways and different fashions, quick delivery, stuff like that. When they want it, they get it, type of thing. So how do you actually give that experience for the member easier, better, overall, and then for yourself, just more convenience as well for time? So that now you're systemizing it. And now you can actually, when you get such a good experience from the person paying, now they just start spreading the word too. That's another form of marketing. And eventually you have this system that starts building out that you're constantly getting money, like focusing on IPAs, which, if you're not familiar, it's not the drinks with the boys at the bar. I'm talking about focusing on IPAs, income producing activities. IPAs, income producing activities. When you focus on that first, then you're making money, and that now you're making enough money that you can actually start putting back into systemizing and growing and scaling, start hiring on people. Sales is everything. So if you're not good at sales right now, get used to it and get good at it, right? Because that's not going anywhere. You got to sell for everything. So sell, figure that out. If you hate it, it's because you're bad at it and you've had bad experiences. Get over it, stop crying, and get good at it. bottom line, like if you've had nasty experiences with other people, I'm sure you had a nasty experience with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, something, and is that going to stop you? No. Get back out on the horse, keep going, you know? So at the end of the day, though, figure out if you can figure out the sales part and you're making money up front, like in the beginning, and then you're supplying the service or you're giving the results of what they want, food, product, service, whatever, then and they're happy and you start systemizing, you make it better for the customer, you make it simplified for yourself, and then at that point you can start hiring on other people when the time starts getting full. Once the time starts getting full from you and it's like, man, I can't go any further, I can't go any faster, now it's time to start hiring other people. And every time you hire somebody, you should have already been in that position to be able to build out strong, solidified SOPs in place to give them clear instructions, clear guidance. I remember my first several people, first probably a dozen people, truthfully, it sucks thinking back. But looking back at it, it's like I had over a dozen people that were asking and begging to work for me as we started growing and scaling. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't. So therefore, I was like, yeah, sure, that would make sense. And eventually, but I'm just moving like a head with a chicken with his head cut off and just busy, busy, busy. And so at the end of the day, these people were coming on and I was just like, here's some of my problems. Just do it, fix it, go. And they're not me. They're not who I am. They don't know either. I didn't give any clear instructions, guidance, wisdom. So it was like, it was just a mess. People were quitting quickly because they don't know. It isn't a real business until you systemize it and give people clear instructions and communication. And so it was humbling, rewarding as well, because it's like, oh, this is cool. People want to be a part of this vision. People are excited for it, but I'm not ready and prepared for it yet. And over the years back then, this was like 2017 and so forth, maybe even before that. Then we got to a place where 2018, I believe 2019, maybe I think it was 18, that we started hiring on our first person and giving a lot of guidance and hands-on approach and having to just, watch them and do it with them, and they shadowed us, and eventually that turned into something well. And so we started getting like moments of like, okay, this is working, and we just figure out things as you go, and you don't have it all right. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. It's part of the process. It's going to cost you more, it's going to take longer and so forth. But when you're getting into these mastermind groups of people that have already been there and done it, you can learn from them. You can ask them questions. You can say, hey, what is the SOP here? Can you help me out? What kind of guidance can you give me with hiring or firing or doing all these different things? And it will make the process that much simpler. It's not easy. It never will be. But you can be proud of something that you worked your tail off for, looking back at how far you've come in the near future when you're hitting your level of success. But again, it's something you have to, there's no way to outsource this. There's no way to get the passion and the energy. It's like you got to find that hustle, that grit, that tenacity of like, when there's a will, there's a way, and just be determined to succeed with it and give it all you got. And there will be sacrifices along the way. And so what are you going to sacrifice? How are you going to communicate with friends, family, loved ones around you beforehand so that they understand your dedication to what you're putting your heart towards, and that it's a season and that they're still willing and ready to support you. And if they're not, or there's issues along the way, that they're going to be communicating that with you as well, and that it needs to be full transparency on all sides. But as you're working this first, you don't need the fancy gadgets and all the things to be able to make you money. You can learn sales up front. You can work your butt off to let as many people know and get that marketing out there. You can have your message on a free podcast, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can do all these things and just repurpose it and put time. If you have time, then you can put it in there. Typically, it's somebody like, if you have time, you usually don't have as much money. And when you start making enough money, then you start losing time because you're so caught back. It's like, well, I'm hustling, I'm making all this money, but now I'm losing time. And then you try to get to that owner position of like, how do I actually start buying back my time by hiring on all these people to be able to do work for me and and be able to save you money and make you money, right? Every time I hire on somebody, I'm always trying to get at least 3, but realistically 4 times in whatever I'm paying them. So either in savings or making money. So that's what every single person that I pay, that's what they need to do back for me. Saving me or making me, or a combination of both, at least 3 to 4 times. And if not, then it's not a good fit. And so you got to ask yourself that and make sure that you can lead, guide, and support them to be able to support you. But then eventually when that takes place, then you're hiring out and you start buying back some of your time. And it's not costing you anything if it's making you money. It's just the cost of doing business. And you need tax write-offs anyway when you start making money anyway. So anyway, I hope all that makes sense. I just wanted to send out this message because I've seen more people recently than I've seen in a while want and talk like they desire these things to hit their level of success, and their actions are respectfully more on the lazier approach. And me looking at it, I'm like, dude, you're hiring on this company 60, 70, 120 grand, and you're thinking that they're going to solve all your problems. In my opinion, my approach, it's going to fail. The automated business, buying another business that's going to cost you a couple $100 grand, you think because that pain point of you putting up that $100 grand, that now it's just going to print you money because that's what it's been doing. It's been doing that with these people in place. But then when you buy it from them and those people are out, or they don't really care anymore because it's not their bills anymore, they already got paid and they may be working with you for another 6 months, maybe. What about that culture? What about they don't give a damn anymore? They don't have any, it's like, understand it's not going to be easy, and you're going to have that hustle. You're going to have that grit, that tenacity, not stopping and pushing through. And I've just never seen it any other way. But you can also focus on the free methods first to just be able to get money coming in, and then look back to start building out the systems and the process as you go, versus trying to get it all. Like, what breaks my heart is seeing people with money up front trying to start these new businesses. Because people with money up front, they're willing to blow all the money. And then it's devastating because I believe all that money will be lost. So they're willing to blow all that money. They don't really have a budget. They don't really have a strong plan. They're just going for it. And they also want, they believe there's just a magic pill out there, like too much social media they're watching, and they're just like, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll just pay somebody to get me the best results. Hey, I'll just pay the top dollar to this guru over here because they'll do all of it and that will get me the results that I'm looking for. Not the case. Not the case. Nobody's going to want it more than you. For any do it for you service. So don't ever forget that. Nobody's going to care about your success more than you. And think of it like this. If it did print you all this money, don't you think more people would be jumping at it? Don't you think the word of mouth would spread more? Don't you think that everybody and their grandmother would be doing it and getting the results? Because you may see seasons, you might notice seasons where everybody and their grandmother's talking about it and the what ifs, the potential, but where's the facts behind actually reaping it? And not just reaping it for a season, like 1, 2, 3 months, but like, consistently data backed information that is repeated and consistent, is that's what you need to test. You need to challenge. You need to ask yourself. I've bought into all the hype with automated e-com stores and so forth in the past, and God bless the people out there that are doing them and crushing it, because I'm sure there are. As far as how many people, hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million plus years ago that all went through that experience and had people overseas running it and all this other nonsense, it ended up just being a shit show for so many people. And so anyway, not to get on a tangent here, I just want to say, like, nobody's going to be able to teach you success. You're going to need to work hard at it and be open, honest, blunt, vulnerable, transparent, like have grit, have tenacity, have hustle in you to actually get to reap what is going to be destined for you. But understand, do it the free method first. Like go the free route, all the books, podcasts, YouTube, like put in the work to get your message out there. Utilize the free method, social media, get sales, IPAs, income producing activities, put in the 10,000 hours, get those reps in so that you're making money, and then you can start building out the systems. You can start building out the team afterwards. You can start going down the right path. Otherwise, investing all this money up front and doing all these other things, coaching, get into mastermind groups, get into people that have already been there and done it. And there's levels to everything. So if you've never invested in yourself, you could stay in the cheaper ones. That's fine. You don't need to invest in high ticket ones always. But, understand price is what you pay, value is what you get. And some people still pay a high price and don't get extreme value. And it comes down to mindsets. It's coming down to what you put in is what you get as well. So be cautious on all these things. So I say it with love and not to throw anybody off here, just hustle, go through the process. So with that being said, look, if you guys are looking for massive amounts of funding, we have a little strategy here that we have been working on and critiquing for years upon years. I've been playing around with credit since 2011 and actively buying real estate each and every year since 2015 with the power of credit. And so we're showing people here in the US nationwide that are either business owners currently or wanting to become business owners that are already making six figures annually, that have a FICO score of 700 or above, that have like goals, ideas, and missing out on opportunities. We have a strategic plan in place to be able to show you how to get smart capital. I'm talking about interest rates as low as 0% and up to $500,000. That could be $200, it could be $300, it could be $400, it could be $500,000 plus. Okay, there's ways that you can get this new capital and do it every 6 months per person. That's an option for you. So I just want to encourage you that if you're missing out on opportunities, if you want to learn how to talk to the banks better and stop winging it and getting low limits or getting straight up denied, and you're scratching your head, why am I paying all this high interest rates when we know Brandon and other members within Credit Counsel Elite are getting, rates as low as 0%. Then I encourage you to check out creditcounselelite.com. That's creditcounselelite.com. Next month, we also have a 3-day virtual event coming up. This is for new potential members that are interested to be able to deep dive into the strategic system that truly works. So if that resonates with you and you're interested, you could check out, again, creditcounselelite.com. Otherwise, we have different webinars we're doing weekly, either Tuesdays at 10 a.m. or Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Happy to explain, educate, and train you on the techniques that have totally changed my life, being able to get over 14 million in real estate assets and do it with the power of credit and getting smart capital. So you can do the same thing. I'm confident in that. Check out creditcounselelite.com. That's creditcounselelite.com. If you haven't already subscribed to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, you're slipping. You're messing up right now. I gotta tell you. So make sure that you go wherever you listen to your podcast episodes, hit that subscribe button. You'll get the newest notification every single Monday. After listening to a few episodes, leave that 5-star review. Appreciate all the love, all the support. You guys are amazing. Keep it coming. And we have a discount for members as well right now. So if you're listening to the podcast, if you are a member, you have already not a member, but you have already subscribed and you get the newest notifications to the podcast, then if you're interested in checking out Credit Counsel Elite, you have about one more week left to be able to save about $3,000. That's not a bad gig. If you are already a member of Credit Counsel Elite, then you can refer other people and make anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. So it's a good deal. It's an amazing opportunity for you. So check that out and simply reach out to us. If you're trying to connect on social media, you can go to Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, on Instagram, it is Credit Counsel Elite. Otherwise, check us out on Facebook, and we'll catch you next time. See you guys. God bless. Peace out.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.